and to Montreal for classical holiday favorites. This Sunday, starting at 9 a.m., 9:30 in Newfoundland on CBC Music. And on the CBC Listen app. For the full broadcast schedule, go to CBC.
This is CBC News. At 12 o'clock, we're at minus 14 with cloudy skies over downtown Winnipeg. Good afternoon. I'm Matt Humphrey. At the top of the news, multiple sources have confirmed to CBC that Prime Minister Justin Trudeau will shuffle his cabinet tomorrow. The move comes days after former Finance Minister Chrystia Freeland's bombshell resignation, and while Trudeau is facing increasing pressure from Liberals to step down. Ravi Bujikanian has more.
I may or may not have a conversation if he asks me views on some colleagues.
Prime Minister Justin Trudeau's newly minted Finance Minister Dominic LeBlanc muted on what he thinks of a shuffle coming tomorrow.
Those are private conversations.
LeBlanc got his latest portfolio when Chrystia Freeland resigned Monday. He's one of many ministers currently holding multiple portfolios, and 8 cabinet ministers have said they won't run again in next year's general election, making a shuffle necessary. But with the crisis Freeland's departure has precipitated in Liberal ranks, there are questions over how long Trudeau can remain leader. Other than addressing Liberals at a fundraiser and a Christmas party, he has not made any public statements this week. Rafi Bujikani on CBC News, Ottawa.
The Manitoba Nurses Union says there's been little improvement at Cancer Care Manitoba since concerns were raised back in January. CBC News has obtained a letter the union sent to the Cancer Care Board almost 1 year ago. It calls the situation there a crisis, saying the workload is too high and the staffing levels are too low. MNU President Darlene Jackson says little has changed.
It's a very difficult environment to work in. Nurses do not feel as if they're valued or respected. They are short-staffed, as is everyone in Manitoba, but they are finding that they're just getting more and more and more work added to their plates every day.
Yesterday, CBC reported on a scathing report on cancer care by Doctors Manitoba. It calls cancer care a toxic workplace and raises concerns about alleged ethical breaches by the CEO. In response, the head of the Cancer Care Board says the concerns are acknowledged and a solution is being worked out. Winnipeg Mayor Scott Gillingham says the city can't do everything, especially with its current financial challenges. At the end of the year, the Community Connections Center at the Millennium Library closes. It has crisis workers and information for some of the city's most vulnerable. Gillingham says it was opened more than 2 years ago as a response to community needs, but it was never meant to be permanent.
We had only committed the funding to the end of 2024. The primary services that community connection space delivers are really provincial services. We talked a moment ago about why the city of Winnipeg is in some of the budget challenges we're in.
He hopes something similar can be funded by the province in another downtown location. The Southern Chiefs organization says Grand Chief Jerry Daniels will return to work January 6th. Last week, the SCO said Daniels would be stepping away for an undetermined length of time because of health reasons. Earlier this month, he was hospitalized in Ottawa. He was there at a gathering of the Assembly of First Nations. A source, who CBC has agreed not to name, says Daniels was involved in an early morning altercation in Ottawa. And Ottawa police say officers were called to the city's Byward Market area around 2:30 a.m. on December 3rd for a disturbance, and an unidentified man was taken to hospital with non-life-threatening injuries. Lake Manitoba First Nation Chief Cornell McLean has been acting as SCO's Grand Chief in the meantime. This is a difficult story. 51 guilty verdicts were handed down at a mass rape trial in Avignon, France. Supporters of the victim, Giselle Pellicot, gathered outside the courthouse waiting for news. The guilty include her now former husband, 72-year-old Dominique Pellicot, who admits to drugging his wife, and inviting dozens of strangers into his home to rape her while she was unconscious. Sarah Levitt has more.
With these guilty verdicts comes sentencing, and almost all of the men will be taken to prison. And just to give you an idea, outside the courthouse, there have been vans that have arrived to take them there. And I say vans, plural, really bringing home how many men are involved. Among them, of course, Dominique Pellicot, the former husband of Gisèle Pellicot. When he had testified in court, he had declared, "I am a rapist like everyone else in this room." He's received the maximum sentence, 20 years, and that is what the prosecution had asked for. The other men, between 3 to 15 years. And at least 5 of the men will actually walk out free, either due to a suspended sentence or because they have already served their time. Sarah Levitt, CBC News, London.
And now finally in Moscow,
Высокотехнологичную дуэль 21 века.
that's Russian President Vladimir Putin suggesting the time has come for a missile duel with the United States. Putin says it would prove Russia's new hypersonic ballistic missiles can't be detected and shot down by any U.S. defense system. He's making the comments at his annual end-of-year national address, which includes a phone-in segment with callers across the country. And that is your CBC News from Winnipeg. Looking at the forecast, mostly cloudy in Winnipeg today, a high of -14 with wind from the north. Brandon, a mix of sun and cloud, high of -15 with wind. Dauphin, a few clouds, a high of -16. Flin Flon, mainly sunny, a high of -20. Thompson, sunshine, a high of -20 with a wind chill. And in Churchill, wind from the northwest with temperatures around -24 degrees.
Good afternoon and welcome to Radio Noon. I'm Laurie Hoogstraten. It is Thursday, December the 19th, and it's chilly out there. Actually, not too bad. We're going for a high of -14 today. And on Radio Noon today, Plan 2050 will not be forwarded to the province for consideration, at least not yet. The plan, which called for regional coordination of infrastructure and planning, was highly contentious. And we want to hear from you. Are you disappointed or relieved that the plan will not go forward, at least not for now? And the community of broken-headed Ojibwe Nation welcome back bison to their ancestral homelands. This is an initiative to repopulate bison into the First Nations communities. That's coming up. But first, we'll hear why nurses have been sounding the alarm on working conditions at Cancer Care Manitoba. As you've been hearing in the news, for the better part of 2024, nurses at Cancer Care Manitoba have been concerned about how their increased workloads could impact patients. CBC has obtained a letter written by nurses to Cancer Care Manitoba's board sounding the alarm about their situation. This comes just a day after a Doctors Manitoba report raising similar concerns came to light. Darlene Jackson is president of Manitoba's Nurses Union. She spoke with the CBC's Megan Ketchison about what she's hearing about conditions at Cancer Care Manitoba.
It's a very difficult environment to work in. The nurses do not feel as if they're valued or respected. They are short-staffed, as is everyone in Manitoba, but they are finding that they're just getting more and more and more work added to their plates every day, and to the point where their patient loads are unsustainable, and they're really beginning to worry about this providing safe care. I mean, in cancer care, you are dealing with some medications that are significant when we're talking about chemo, etc. And, we know that increased workloads causes, we see more and more patient errors when there are increased workloads and nurses are spread thin. And that's their concern, is they're not going to be able to provide safe care.
Where is this falling down? Is this at the upper levels? Is it Cancer Care itself? Is it the province? Generally with, or is this more specifically to Cancer Care itself?
I think we have issues throughout the entire healthcare system, but I think this issue is specific to Cancer Care in that I think it's an environment that is not desirable to work in. And I think that we're hearing from the allied health professionals. We've heard clearly from physicians that there are issues. We've heard from nurses there are issues. So I'd say this issue is probably coming from above those people on the front line to upper management. And this needs to be dealt with because cancer is not something that people can stand in a waiting room and wait for treatment. There's been some promises made that, individuals with cancer would be diagnosed and followed up quickly. And unfortunately, when the staffing is in this condition and where nurses are expected to do more and more and more, and where physicians are spread thin because clearly there is a lack of oncologists in this province because we know the wait to see an oncologist is getting longer. So there has to be something done because, individuals with cancer absolutely need to be diagnosed and moved into treatment quickly.
There has been discussion that they are searching for a new CEO. Would that improve, do you think, the situation?
Well, it may, because often the entire tone of the organization comes from the very top and rolls down, right? So that may benefit, but it's like many of our workplaces in Manitoba. There is a culture of lack of respect, lack of value, lack of collaboration with nurses and clearly with physicians because they've spoken out also. So I think that they've got some work to do at Cancer Care. The employer does.
I know that their term comes to an end at the end of 2025. There is a search that's ongoing. How soon would you like to see a change at the top of Cancer Care?
Well, I think that's something the board needs to look at. Is can they sustain the operations of the organization as is, and can there be changes made to improve collaboration and discussion with staff on the front line? I think that'll be a board decision. But I think the board needs to really sit up and take notice of what's happening in that organization and start to give some direction on dealing with it.
Now that letter was sent back in January from the nurses, and here we are in December, and the complaints were, and Doctors Manitoba was, started their process of looking into it in September. Do you feel that your concerns weren't being listened to or addressed?
Oh, I'm sure their concerns have not been listened to or addressed, because if they were, then we wouldn't be seeing be seeing more follow-up from physicians. And, clearly there's an issue that hasn't been addressed, that despite asking for help and pointing out where things need to change. So, I don't think it's been addressed. If it had been addressed, we wouldn't be hearing from physicians right now.
As a citizen, what do you want to say, though, to members of the public who might be going, oh my God, this situation, I'm terrified of being diagnosed with cancer because I don't want to end up in this place?
Well, the first thing I would say is, don't be afraid to go to Cancer Care. I mean, they are, the staff are doing everything in their power to ensure good care. And I'm talking about the allied health staff, nurses, physicians. What they're doing is this is putting sort of an alarm out saying we're not in a good place. We need more resources, and we need help to push someone to provide funding and direction to improve those resources. So I would say, it's not cause for fear, but it certainly is. They're raising the alarm to say we cannot sustain this the way it is. So for patients, it's still a great place to go. The staff are amazing. The physicians are amazing. However, there are definitely problems in that system.
That's Manitoba Nurses Union President Darlene Jackson speaking with the CBC's Megan Ketchison. And you can read more about this story on our website, cbc.ca/Manitoba.
The customer you have reached,
Radio Noon,
is not available. Please leave your message at the tone.
Hello, this is Santa Claus. Just calling you back to say that I talked to the elves, and yes, they will let me take some calls from the good girls and boys of Manitoba on Radio Noon Christmas Eve from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Looking forward to it, so please don't hold any calls.
Santa Claus is coming to Radio Noon Christmas Eve from 12:30 to 1. Get those questions and Christmas wishes ready and dial 204-780-0893 for your chance to talk to Santa.
Aw, Santa, on Christmas Eve. I'll be here too. I can get my wishes right in there. Coming up on Radio Noon, a vote on whether the regional planning framework called Plan 2050 should be forwarded to the province was defeated this morning. We want to know what you think about that. Give us a call, 204-780-0893. And the community of Broken-Headed Ojibwe Nation welcomed back bison to their ancestral homelands. This is an initiative to repopulate bison into the First Nations community. That's coming up in just a minute. And a quick look at the forecast for you. Mostly Thursday today. Mostly cloudy today in the Winnipeg region. Highs of -14 down to -24 tonight. And on Friday, highs of -18, and then it's warming up over the weekend, -9 on Saturday, -7 on Sunday, and it's going to stay quite warm. -5 on Tuesday and -2 on Wednesday, which is, of course, Christmas Day. And some temperatures for you around the province. It's -16 in Brandon, Churchill -21, in Dauphin it's -23, Gimli reporting -16, cooler in the Pot -25, Thompson -26, in Winnipeg it's -15. And up next, that is the sound of bison being reintroduced back into Broken-Headed Ojibwe Nation. Yesterday, the community held a Buffalo Treaty signing ceremony. Zagame Anishinabek gifted bison to the community. It's part of an initiative to repopulate bison back into First Nations communities across Canada. Chief Gordon Bluesky of Broken-Headed Ojibwe Nation joins us by phone today. Hello.
Good morning, and we're heading into afternoon now. How are you?
Very well, thanks. Yeah, just, what is it? Well, let's see, 17 minutes after 12 on Radio Noon, as we say. So tell me, what was it like for you to see those bison released back into the community?
It was such an amazing ceremony and experience for myself and my fellow council members, and joined by our community and of elders and children and, of course, all the adults. It was a really, I think, what we call a spiritual experience, given the fact that our buffalo were back and roaming in our lands again.
And what did it look like? Did they come out of the trucks? Were they big, small? Tell us, what did it actually look like when it was happening?
Yeah, it was quite amazing. And if anybody listening wanted to actually see the experience, we ended up going live on our Facebook page, Broken Ojibwe Nation Facebook page. And the whole experience was videoed. But with that being said, I was kind of surprised myself. They had 20 cows and 2 bulls delivered, and it was within one trailer. And it was quite a big trailer as well. And it was very, very interesting to see all those magnificent animals coming off that trailer out the back. We were expecting them earlier on in the afternoon, and we were hoping to have a bit of a more sun out, but of course, as with anything, delays happen, and it happened the way it was supposed to happen. It was a bit of a light snow, The bison ran out as if they were there before, and it was a really good experience. We had our big drum there, and our children were singing around that big drum. And I know for a fact that they're going to remember this for the rest of their lives.
So, how long has it been since there were bison on your community's land?
Well, for us specifically, of course, buffalo used to range all over Manitoba traditionally. But for us to have our ranch was about 13 years ago now, maybe 12 or 13 years ago. And of course, now we're focused on being a part of the Buffalo Treaty, which is now focused on the reintegration and the putting buffalo across the plains again.
So tell me a little more about the significance of having bison reintroduced back into your community.
Well, number one, with this specific project that's going on, the goal of it and the starting of it with a group called Local from Samoa, they came here and was working with some communities out west, and they got to understand the significance of the buffalo, and just as with ourselves as Indigenous people. And I think a lot of Canadians and Americans don't understand that we used to have hundreds of millions of buffalo running across our lands, and with them almost being hunted and slaughtered to pretty near extinction. And to my understanding, there was less than 1,000 buffalo left in North America. And of course, the intention of that was to cut off our food supply, to cut off our sustenance and our ways of living, our clothing, and so on. That whenever you see them coming back, it's the same with our First Nations. I feel that we're on this rebound. We're on this resilient. We're resilient. These bison are resilient, and now that they're coming back, and we're now part of taking care of them and bringing back the spirit of those buffalo. And in our ways, in terms of the 7 teachings, the buffalo Muscadet basically represents respect. So I think that's a really big, for me, what we're seeing is a bit of a shift and a cultural shift in our time that we're living in, and seeing the reintroduction and the support that we're getting across this land. And of course, the idea of the Buffalo Treaty is that we have to now, raise these animals up and then re-gift to another community. And hopefully, the idea of that is that we sign another agreement, and that community then shares these buffalo with another First Nation across the land.
Now, I understand that you are a 60s scoop survivor. So I was wondering, how do you connect your experience to that of the bison returning to their ancestral homelands?
Well, yesterday during our ceremony, we're going to be releasing a video. There's going to be a video there was a video done of the whole coming home and the bringing home of our buffalo. And it really did touch me yesterday when I was doing the signing ceremony, and it started off with my speaking was, as a 60 Scoop survivor, I understand how it feels to come home. Of course, myself, my story, and I've shared this before, I was taken away to America and made my way home in 1995. And I can honestly, in some ways I felt, and I don't know how to say it in terms of the physical form, but in terms of the spiritual form, I had a bit of a connection with those buffalo coming back to the lands here, because I know how that feels. And I also know how it feels to have community members and family members filled with joy and excitement when you do come back. And my community has been nothing but open arms and nurturing and supportive of me since I've been home. Since that, next year will be 30 years. So
30 years.
So almost like yesterday, I feel like when I came home.
Damn. Well, tell me a bit about the treaty signing. What's the significance of the treaty?
Well, the treaty, as if anything else, there has to be an agreement, and with ourselves as First Nations, and we take these types of agreements and these covenants as sacred, and that's why we hold up our treaty that we have with the British Crown, and with obviously with the implementation of that treaty with Canada, very serious and sacred. So in terms of this particular Buffalo Treaty, the responsibility that we have is to receive, as did Sagamay First Nation. They received as well from 20 cows and 2 bulls, and then they raised them up And part of that treaty is that we then receive these 20 cows and 2 bulls, and then we raise them up. And it sounds like with Sakame was within 5 years. So we were probably targeting about the same period of time of 5 years, be looking for another First Nation to then gift these the same starter herd to them to get them started and underway, and then they'll be responsible, and we'll be signing a treaty with them to keep this going. It's almost like how's that movie there called? Pay It Forward. We're paying it forward, but also receiving such a great blessing at the same time. So the treaty itself is a responsibility and a covenant that we made with Sakame and the Anishinaabe people to take forward the Muscade Basic and reintroducing them to Anishinaabe Aki across this land.
Well, thank you very much for telling us the story of the buffalo returning to your community. Thank you.
I really appreciate the opportunity, and everybody have a safe and happy holidays. Miigwech.
Miigwech. Bye-bye. Chief Gordon Bluesky is the chief of Broken Head Ojibwe Nation. Their community reintroduced over 20 bison back into the community.
What's new in news? How about a streaming channel from CBC that goes beyond the news? Get the big picture with a closer look at everything from dating to music to crime in the new series Big. Discover daily conversations about the questions we're all asking on About That with Andrew Chang. And for all the fascinating things on Earth, watch Planet Wonder. CBC News Explore. Available free on CBC Gem and CBC News app.
Well, Christmas came early with the arrival of a Brothers Landreth new album, For You, Live. It's a cover album with some very raw, intimate live recordings of the Manitoba favorites covering some of their favorite artists. If you listen closely to this next one, you'll hear a candid mistake and laugh from the Brothers Landreth partway through the performance. From them, this is a cover of Jackson Browne's These Days.
Well, I've been out walking. I don't do that much talking these days. These days. These days I seem to think a lot about the things that I forgot to do for you. And all the times I had the chance to. Well, I had a lover. It's so hard to risk another these days. These days. And if I seem to be afraid to live the life that I have made in song, it's that I've been losing for so long. Well, I'll keep on moving on. Things are bound to be improving these days. These days. These days I sit on cornerstones and count the time in quarter tones till 10. My friend, don't confront me with my failures. I have not forgotten, man.
Did you catch that little laugh there? That was a cover of Jackson Browne These Days by Manitoba's Brothers Landreth. You're listening to Radio Noon. I'm Laurie Hoogstraten. You're at 89.3 FM, 990 AM. It is Thursday, December the 19th. Holidays are hard upon us, and we're going for a high of minus 19th day. Coming up after the 12:30 news, Plan 2050 will not be forwarded to the province for consideration, at least not yet. The plan, which called for regional coordination of infrastructure and planning, was highly contentious. And we want to hear from you. Are you disappointed or relieved that the plan won't be going forward? Give us a call, 204-780-0893, and tell us what you think about that. The news is next.
This is CBC News. At 12:30, we're at minus 15 with cloudy skies over downtown Winnipeg. Good afternoon. I'm Matt Humphrey. At the top of the news, multiple sources are telling CBC that there will be a federal cabinet shuffle tomorrow. This follows Chrystia Freeland's decision to resign as Minister of Finance and comes as Prime Minister Justin Trudeau is facing growing calls for him to resign as leader. We'll have more on this story as it develops. More healthcare voices are raising concerns about the work environment at Cancer Care Manitoba. Yesterday, we told you about a report by Doctors Manitoba which called it a toxic workplace in crisis mode. CBC News has obtained a copy of a letter the Manitoba Nurses Union sent to Cancer Care outlining its concerns about a potentially unsafe environment. It said nurses are leaving because of heavy workloads, particularly in the area of hematology. The number of workload staffing reports went up by 400% between 2022 and 2023. MNU President Darlene Jackson says despite the letter being sent in January, there are still issues.
There is a culture of lack of respect, lack of value, lack of collaboration with nurses and clearly with physicians because they've spoken out also. So I think that, they've got some work to do at Cancer Care. The employer does.
Cancer Care replied to MNU in March, saying it was hiring more nurses and addressing the workload issue. CBC has asked Cancer Care for a response to this latest development. Winnipeg's mayor says the city's financial constraints mean it can no longer fund the Community Connection Centre at the Millennium Library. It was opened 2.5 years ago as an information hub with crisis workers and community safety hosts. It's slated to close December 31st at the end of the year. Mayor Scott Gillingham says the city only intended to have the centre open for 2 years, and he says the services it provided are actually under provincial jurisdiction.
We've had discussions with the province about some of the services that we have been providing in that space are really provincial services. And we have to be aware of this. When governments get into mission creep, the costs go up and up and up.
Gillingham hopes the province can offer a similar service at another location in the city in the future. And finally, in Hollisdayburg, Pennsylvania.
Please get back.
That's the sound of police escorting Luigi Mangione out of a courthouse where he waived his right to an extradition hearing, agreeing to be turned over to New York authorities. The 26-year-old is charged with murder through the use of a firearm, 2 counts of stalking, and a gun charge in connection with the killing of United Healthcare's CEO Brian Thompson outside a Manhattan hotel just over 2 weeks ago. And that is your CBC News from Winnipeg. For news anytime, you can head to cbc.ca/Manitoba.
Thanks, Matt.
Back soon.
That's Matt Humphrey at the CBC News Desk. And now, on the left side of this desk, is weather specialist Riley Lachek. Hi, Riley.
A little bit of a snowy night.
Little bit.
A lot of a snowy night for some.
Oh, really?
In southern Manitoba, yes.
It was, eh?
Oh, yeah. As expected, getting an accumulating snow into that southwest corner of the province, even into parts of south central Manitoba. Winnipeg, as of 9:30 this morning, 1 to 2 centimeters of snow. So as expected on that low end of that 2 to 4 centimeters in the Red River Valley. Morris, for example, getting about 10 overnight last night into the morning hours.
Decent amount.
Brandon, 12 centimeters. Miami, Manitoba, in the Morden-Winkler region, 18 centimeters. So some locally higher amounts in there, but certainly as forecast in that 10 to 15 for southwestern Manitoba. lesser amounts the further east and north you went in the province. Steinbach, for example, just getting 1.5 centimeters as of this morning. Although it did snow a little bit more in Steinbach since that 9:30 measurement. Most of the snow has now moved south of the border. Few little stray flurries still into parts of southern Manitoba, and we've started to see a little bit of clearing even. There is some cloud behind that still, so more like a cloudy with sunny breaks through the afternoon. So yes, we'll get some sunny periods, but there is a little bit of cloud still yet to come behind some of this. So we will start to see a little bit of cloud filling back in. But yeah, do expect to see a little bit of sun through the afternoon here in Winnipeg today. Minus 15 in the city right now. It's minus 16 in both Portage and Brandon. Dauphin's at minus 21. Minus 24 right now in Thompson. So as expected, we'll see some clearing through more clearing in earnest, I'll say, as we get through the evening hours into the overnight period. So we do get to a mainly clear sky thanks to high pressure by tomorrow morning. This is really going to drive our temperatures down into the minus mid-20s once again across southern Manitoba. I've got Winnipeg at minus 24 tonight. Could get down to minus 25, maybe even minus 26 first thing in the morning. Minus 24 is more like your overnight temperature. Once we start to get going, though, we'll warm up a little bit as we get into the day on Friday. Into Saturday, we'll see some cloud building in overnight into the morning hours. Again, this is ahead of another weak area of instability that will bring us a fairly good chance of some flurries, maybe even a little bit of light snow once again into south central Manitoba, but fairly scattered in nature and even some scattered flurries into northern Manitoba through the afternoon on Saturday. Today's highs, I've got Winnipeg at minus 14 later this afternoon, minus 15 in Brandon, minus 14 in Dauphin, Thompson minus 22, a mix of sun and clouds this afternoon. Another cold one tomorrow, minus 18 in Winnipeg, although mostly sunny by the time we get into the day tomorrow. Chance we could see some flurries, as mentioned, on Saturday up to minus 9. That is the first day of winter, the shortest day of the year.
The shortest
longest
day.
night. Yeah. Sunday, minus 7. Clouds feature as we get into next week. Minus 5 for Monday, minus 3 for Tuesday. And Christmas Day, we're jumping closer to freezing. I've got us minus 1.
Well,
minus 2, actually, make that.
Well, it'd be good for, dashing through the snow in our one-horse open sleigh and
So
all that.
not a bitter cold, but we'll get close to freezing. And then maybe some flurries on Boxing Day.
I think that sounds very, very holiday-ish.
I'll keep my eye on it for you.
Thank you, Riley.
You're welcome.
That's our weather specialist, Riley Lachuk, and you can hear him this afternoon on Up to Speed, and of course see him on CBC television at 6. You're listening to Radio Noon. It is 23 minutes before 1 o'clock. I'm Laurie Hoogstraten. You're at 89.3 FM, 990 AM. And this morning, the mayors and reeves of Winnipeg and its surrounding municipalities voted on the future of a contentious regional planning framework. The vote by members of the Winnipeg Metropolitan Region went against forwarding Plan 2050, the planning framework for Winnipeg and 17 municipalities, to the province. They now have 2 years to come up with a new plan. The voted down plan would have provided for regional planning and decision-making for major roads and other infrastructure projects, but would also have an effect on rules around the size of lots in new residential areas. Plan 2050 also called for regional coordination, when it comes to expanding transit service and coordinating things like wastewater treatment or emergency services. And this year, the provincial NDP introduced legislation that allowed municipalities to opt out of the Winnipeg Metropolitan Region. And we want to hear from you. What do you think about the defeat of Plan 2050? What would work better when it comes to regional coordination of plans? And how will you be affected by the defeat of Plan 2050 in your municipality? Something to do with lot size, something to do with infrastructure, water treatment? Give us a call at 204-780-0893, or you can text at 204-588-3055. And our guest today is the mayor of Selkirk, Larry Johansson. Hi, Larry.
Hi, Laurie. How are you?
I'm well. How are you?
I'm well, too. Busy, but well. Lots of good things at this time of the year.
Well, that's good. So tell me, how did you feel about the vote today?
Oh, fantastic. I think they did the right thing. The province is 100% accurate on allowing municipalities to opt out of it. I feel local government should have a choice whether or not to join the capital planning region. Our citizens, at election time, our citizens, they elect the council to lead the communities. And Selkirk's path and our inclusion in the Winnipeg Metro region takes away that ability to do it in many ways.
And just to talk about the plan in general, how all-encompassing was it? Like, what were the sort of upsides and downsides? And I put those in air quotes.
Well, a lot of it has to do with the decision-making and, the ability to override what a good council and good administration has put together for us. Getting out, it restores the authority of local governments to make their own land use decisions. And that reflects the needs and visions of every community for their own decision-making. Everybody's different, all the communities, all the cities, all the towns. But everybody should have, in Manitoba, the authority to guide and shape the development of their own community. And we need to retain the power to make the decisions for our city. That should remain in our hands, the local elected council.
But is there not a case to be made that some municipalities would benefit from, say, being under more of an umbrella of cooperation and planning?
Oh, absolutely. And we've said that right from the beginning, that, this may be good for some communities, some municipalities. But we've been adamant from the start that it's not for us. It's not for Selkirk. Because we believe all communities should be able to choose whether they are included. We look forward to working with our neighbors in ways that make sense for everybody. We've had a long and recognized history of making environmentally responsible decisions. And I'll add, Laurie, we've received national attention for our work in infrastructure asset management, climate adaptation, climate mitigation. So we want to be able to have the ability to keep making those important decisions. We don't need the interference, we don't need the unnecessary red tape, and we don't need the extra cost to our citizens.
So you have been collaborating, though, with nearby municipalities, and that's worked well. Why would it not work better or as well on a larger scale?
Well, I'll give you an example, Laurie. We recently signed a historic MOU with GIZ, Memorandum of Understanding, between the Manitoba Métis Federation, the Rural Municipality of St. Andrews, and the City of Selkirk. And what it is the Manitoba Métis Federation is doing a project by Number 4 Bridge, and it's in the municipality of St. Andrews. So for the first time in our history, we're going to be supplying them potable water. We're also going to be taking their wastewater to our treatment plant via a pipeline. And we sat down with President Chartrand, Mayor Joy Sewell, and myself, and we signed a memorandum of understanding for that project. Well, we can do that here. That's our true region. St. Andrews, St. Clements, our interlake area is stopping here now, and they're coming to Selkirk and the surrounding areas because we've created a city that is able to supply those kind of needs. God bless the province for the beautiful medical facilities we have here. We have the right businesses. The commercial is excellent. We have housing options. We've got beautiful parks. Our roads, we've invested millions in our roads, active transportation pathways. So we're ready to go. But we can't do that kind of a project with Winnipeg or with areas around Winnipeg. We have to do those kind of projects with people who we can do them with, who are close enough to do them with.
You mentioned that you thought it was a wise move on the province's part to allow municipalities to opt out. What did you mean by that?
Well, I believe that this shouldn't be forced on municipalities. We've taken a good look at Plan 2050. A lot of what Plan 2050 involves. I mean, we are doing it already. We have our own planning department. We take care of all our development in-house. We were one of the first recyclers in the province.
Oh, are you there, Larry? Oh, I think we're losing you. Oh, well, That was Mayor Larry Johansson talking to us about how the regional planning framework for Winnipeg and its neighbours is not going ahead. The Winnipeg Metropolitan Region voted this morning not to proceed with Plan 2050, and the region will now try to develop a new plan for the start of 2027. Larry Johansson said he was a busy guy today, but we thank him for his time.
Everybody knows a turkey and some mistletoe help to make the season bright. But singing along to Yuletide classics and new holiday favorites is what really makes the holly jolly. CBC Music unwraps the gift of holiday playlists to get you into the festive spirit. From pop to jazz, gospel, folk, blues, classical, country, and so many more. Now available on the CBC Listen app.
Breaking news happens anywhere, anytime.
Police have warned the protesters repeatedly, get back.
CBC News brings the story to you as it happens.
Hundreds of wildfires are burning.
Be the first to know what's going on and what that means for you and for Canadians.
This situation has changed very quickly.
Helping make sense of the world when it matters most. Stay in the know. CBC News.
Christmas Day is 6 sleeps away, and malls are increasingly busy with last-minute shoppers scrambling to get their gifts together. The CBC's Hayden Waters headed out to the Eaton Centre in Toronto to speak to some of them.
I'm Emily.
I'm Mackenzie.
Where are you at shopping-wise this year?
We're both done.
I started in October, so I'm finished.
We just like to have everything done, quick, because why do you want to shop when it's super crazy?
What is it like in there right now?
Right now, oh my gosh, it's super busy, especially for we got here when the mall opened at 10 and it was full.
Is there anyone in your life where you're stressed for them because they leave it to the last minute?
Yeah, my boyfriend. Big time.
Has he started shopping yet?
He started a week or two ago, and now he's like, I have a week left and I have no idea what to get anyone, so.
Oh no. Has your shopping, the way you shop, shifted at all? Online, in person?
Absolutely, definitely more online now. I would say probably 75% of my shopping was done online.
Yeah, this year I've actually shopped online a lot more than usual. Me and my mom are definitely we have to go to the store, we have to see it, look at it, and this year I was just kind of over it. I was I don't want to go to the store, I just shop online. I just hate the malls when they're super crazy, people are bumping into you, they want to grab the last thing of something, so I'm if it's online, I could just do it and save myself the hassle.
Any packages that didn't get to you so far because of the Canada Post strike?
Yeah, I've got a couple to the point where I don't even remember what's coming now. So
I have one, it's actually for you, and I have no idea if I'm gonna get it even before Christmas to give it to you, so.
Are you okay with not getting a gift?
Yes, absolutely.
That's one of many for you. It's only one of many.
My best friend, she's stuck with me, so.
Okay, and if someone's listening right now and they have not started yet, what is your advice for them?
Good luck, number one.
Start now.
That has some great deals.
Hi, I'm Raquel. I am at the Eaton Centre. I am shopping for the holidays.
Okay, where are you on your list so far?
I've just started, sadly.
Is that late for you, or where do you normally fall?
It is late for me. It's been a busy year. A lot of it has been online lately, but I thought I'd come in and actually look today.
Okay, and what's the difference between doing online versus actually coming and being in person?
I think because I've done a majority of it online, I'm kind of looking now for the odds and ends that I can squeeze in and shove into stocking stuffers and kind of add the fillers. My sister and close family, I'm still looking for the right touch. So that's more, I'm tactile. I've got to see and touch something, and then I'll know if it's right for the person.
My name is Janine.
Okay, what kind of shopper are you when it comes to the holidays?
Online shopper.
Okay, so online shopping, is that totally online shopping, or do you do sometimes you go in the store and do it?
Mostly online shopping. I go to the store if I can't find it, or if it's a collectible or something older, for example, vintage, or thrift shop. If I'm thrifting for clothes, then I go in person because, mostly clothes or shoes because you have to try it.
Okay, and where are you at holiday shopping this year? How far have you gotten?
I've gotten pretty far. I've ordered books. I've ordered gifts for my family, so mostly a lot.
Hi, I'm Michelle. Shopping in Christmas for me is giving kids money in envelopes. I don't shop for adults.
When did you decide to do that exactly?
Ever since I turned 20, because I don't know what some people like, so it's better to just give them so that they can go out and buy what they want.
Are people receptive to that, would you say?
They are. I had one cousin that thought I was poor when I gave them a money full of envelope. I'm like, that's kind of weird. But yeah, they prefer the cash than me just going out and buying any random toy or something like that.
And do you shop for yourself over the holidays at all?
Absolutely. Hello.
So what are you getting for this holiday?
Well, I just bought a Tesla, so I think that's good enough for me for now.
There you go. Merry Christmas to you.
Thank you.
My name is Jamar.
Okay, did you just go shopping right now?
Yes, I did. I got a Super Puff vest.
Oh, that's very nice. What's your relationship with shopping in the holidays?
I just get everyone to make a little Christmas list, so that makes me easier for me to buy things for them. Other than that, I don't mind shopping, but I don't like it at all.
Okay, and why don't you like it exactly?
The Russian side is crazy, the lines are crazy, and people are just a little bit overzealous at the holidays. I wouldn't go there on the weekend if I were you.
Yeah, no, that's not a good place to be. Okay, and where are you at shopping-wise? How much more do you need to do before next week?
I'm done.
You're done. Hey, congratulations.
Happy holidays.
Hey, to you too. Thank you. Have a great day. Bye now.
CBC's Hayden Waters talking to shoppers this week. You're listening to Radio Noon. It's 10 minutes to 1 o'clock. Well, Tim Baker is embracing the Christmas season with a new album of original holiday songs. The project was inspired by his hometown of St. John's, Newfoundland, and the nostalgic feeling of coming back home for Christmas. It's called Full Rainbow of Light, and off it, here's Tim Baker with Light the Light.
It's not the Christmas that we dreamt, and it isn't over yet. Yeah, all my records and my decorations, they're second-hand anthems. All of the presents that I wanted to get you, well, there wasn't much to read. But I ain't just talking, I don't care what you bought. All I want, you know I already got. To watch you washing all the light coming on. Yeah. On all of the good in you, I see it pushing through. And that's what I'm drinking to. Seeing the good everywhere that I look. Seeing the good everywhere that I look. What does it mean? Do I even believe in what I try to get you these things that I do? I think it's just so you at least believe in me. 'Cause sometimes in the long dark nights it's hard to see the brighter side. And I won't lie, I only light the light just to see it in your eyes. Yeah, they're open wide and I know what you're thinking. If only life could be all like this weekend. You'd wanna try it if you saw you like I did. Oh, I could see it. All of the good in you, I see it pushing through. That's what I'm drinking to. Seeing the good everywhere that I look. Seeing the good everywhere that I look. Happiness to all my friends and to all I have in it. It's not the Christmas that we dreamt, but still it isn't over yet. When we arrive, they'll be spilling their wine, they'll be swinging the side door in. And our empty hands are just open hands, and that's the only way to feel it. Yeah. All of the good in you, I see it pushing through. That's what I'm drinking to. Seeing the good everywhere that I look. All of the good in you, I see it pushing through.
That was Tim Baker out of St. John's with Light the Light.
CBC Music Live. Head into the big venues, intimate concert halls, and small stages. Celebrate live music the way it was meant to be. Share in an unmistakable energy of being shoulder to shoulder with music fans and face to face with some of Canada's best musicians.
It's such an honor and a pleasure to play here.
CBC Music Live, brand new season. And catch past episodes right now on CBC Jam.
The customer you have reached,
Radio Noon,
is not available. Please leave your message at the tone.
Hello, this is Santa Claus. Just calling you back to say that I talked to the elves, and yes, they will let me take some calls from the good girls and boys of Manitoba on Radio Noon Christmas Eve from 12:30 to 1 p.m. Looking forward to it. So please don't hold any calls.
Santa Claus is coming to Radio Noon Christmas Eve from 12:30 to 1. Get those questions and Christmas wishes ready and dial 204-780-0893 for your chance to talk to Santa.
Chance to talk to Santa. Can't go wrong with that. I've talked to Santa in this studio once or twice, and I happen to know that he likes a nice plate of cookies nearby. I'm just putting it out there to the people on the other side of the glass. If they want a happy Santa or a happier Santa, some cookies. I don't know if he's big on dairy these days, so like the glass of milk maybe ew, but I think he likes a nice coffee. So that's Christmas Eve with Santa. So think about what you want for Christmas. Every year I say to Santa, where is my pony, Santa? Where is my pony? I still have not received it. I hope you're listening, Santa. Now, I welcome to the studio Faith Fundal, host of Up to Speed. Hi, Faith.
Lori, it's going to be a fun chat with Santa.
It will.
I cannot wait. And I know so many people get so excited for this time of year. So it's going to be a fun conversation. You might also be looking for a creative and helpful way to spend the holiday. Our science columnist, Torkature, has a job for you.
Uh-oh.
And you'll have to tune in to hear what that job is.
Ooh, Dr. Torkature, scientist.
There's so much. It'll be fun, I promise. For some folks, though, it's also not very fun, though, because the longest night of the year may be the darkest night of the year for someone. We're going to hear more about Blue Christmas and why many folks are gathering to hold space for grief.
Okay. Thank you, Faith.
Thank you.
That's all coming up on Up to Speed this afternoon from 3 to 6. Well, thank you for being with us on Radio Noon. I'm going to zoom home over the, I hope by now, nice clear highways and fix my wreath. I make a Christmas wreath and I put in rose hips and little frozen crab apples and stuff. And the deer walk right up to the door where it's hanging at eye level for the deer and gnaw on it. So then I have to do wreath repairs. So that's my activity. I don't know what Torkature think about that, but that is my activity for this afternoon. Looking forward to talking to you again tomorrow. Enjoy your day. It's sunny. So nice. Talk to you later. Bye.